Hey y'all! Did that glitch? Hello? That was so weird. I saw some glitch. I don't know if y'all saw that, but let's try this again. Hey y'all! I figured out the mic problem from yesterday's video. Today will be a lot more enjoyable. I apologize for that. Today we are reacting to Wendy's success story. We went from Chanel, the fashionista, to Calvin Klein, another fashion designer, to TikTok entrepreneurs, Nike, running shoes, and now Wendy's, a fast food place. Once again, I'm looking for some sadness and suffering, and still haven't found that yet. Nike seemed... I was very jealous in that video, but Nike did have a great success story. The dude really used his assets to his advantage. He didn't really struggle very much, at least from the video that I reacted to. So I'm hoping this is a little different because I'm looking for some sadness. Alright, gonna cover up Vanessa over here. Sorry, Vanessa, you don't look the best today. I'm doing you a favor. Please be sure to hit that like button, and let's get into it.
You know, nothing beats a great cheeseburger.
Dave Thomas was an orphan.
Yeah! I scared my cat. We started right in with the good stuff. He was an orphan. That's a good story. That is a great story right there. Great for college applications too. In your essay, if you have some sad story like that, you'll get in. I'm just kidding. Please don't believe me when I say that. But if you do have a sad story, college applications eat that up.
Restaurants was the only thing that gave him a sense of belonging and purpose. When he was...
Let me hear that again.
Nothing beats a great cheeseburger.
Dave Thomas was an orphan. Eating hamburgers in restaurants was the only thing that gave him a sense of belonging and purpose.
Eating hamburgers in restaurants was the only thing that gave him a sense of belonging and purpose? That's like real sad. Well, he made a business out of it.
When he was 8 years old, he set out a plan to open the best restaurant in the world and later founded Wendy's. But first, he had to take on a risk that would make or break his career.
Yup, that's how all the successful businesses get made. You gotta take risks. If you don't take risks, you're playing it too safe and you're not living life correctly. You're barely living a life.
Turned KFC's failing stores into a successful franchise.
There's a family secret. We're getting all the tea in here.
In 1932, Dave Thomas was born in New Jersey. His parents weren't married and put him up for adoption when he was 6 weeks old. Several months later, he was taken in by a couple from Michigan who kept his adoption a secret. Still, Thomas never...
Oh gosh, they kept his adoption a secret? How long did he last not knowing about that? Like, when did he find that out?
got the chance to know what it was like to grow up with a real family. When he was 5 years old, his mother passed away from rheumatic fever. From then on, Dave's father struggled to find work. He bounced from job to job and state to state and could only afford to settle in dirty boarding houses or cramped trailers.
Wait, why does it matter what happens to his parents? Didn't his parents give him up for adoption? Or are they talking about the parents that adopted him? I'm sorry, I'm a little stupid. I'm a little...
Hard worker and honest, but as far as being a father, he didn't have the time or the inclination. Fortunately, Dave's grandmother made time for him and sometimes brought him to work.
That's nice, that's good. But at the end of the day, if you can make time for anything if it really matters to you, you know? You just gotta make it a priority.
She was a cook and a dishwasher at a white tablecloth restaurant that served family-style meals.
Okay, now, okay. That's where it started. It started young, too. That just Seems to be the way it is. Okay, he was introduced to this kind of stuff from the beginning.
From inside the kitchen, Dave would watch the hustle and bustle between the staff and the customers eat and laugh with excitement. It became a pastime, especially when he ate dinner with his father in silence. He rarely cooked and brought Dave to greasy diners for his favorite meal, a mouth-watering hamburger.
Okay, so that makes more sense. At first I was like, that is a little weird that all of his joy comes from eating a burger in a restaurant. But now it kind of makes sense now that it's explained. I probably should have waited. That is so cool though, that his passion literally came from having burgers with his dad and grandma and watching that, and he was like, I'm gonna build a restaurant out of it.
It was a substitution for other things. There's something about eating, about the family tradition of eating together. When people eat, they're happy. While Dave had...
Yes, that's what food does. It's just so good. We should eat right now. I have no food. I have some raisins. I can get raisins. It's not a burger. I can get raisins. Okay, hold up. I got some raisins. They're here. Okay, now we got food. We can connect now. We can connect as a family. We should get a family name. Because other YouTubers have that, you know? We should just call, like, our community should just be called the entrepreneurial family. The family of dreams. We're the dream catchers. Because we go and achieve our dreams. What y'all think? What y'all think? Okay.
Had a rough start to his childhood. He discovered a passion that led to the inspiration behind Wendy's.
This kind of goes slow, but I'm kind of digging it. Because everything is so fast-paced nowadays. We need to just chill sometimes, you know? Fired without mercy. He had a job.
When Dave was 10 years old, his father remarried and moved to Indiana. Dave no longer felt welcomed at home, so he set out to find work.
Oh man, that sucks. He barely had a relationship with his father, and then his father, like, was just out of his life after he got remarried. Now the son is like, okay, I guess I'll move on. Like, that's so sad that he never had, like, that stable family, you know?
Find work from anyone who would hire him. He ended up working several odd jobs that he hated and didn't keep for
I'm sorry, wait, he had to do this at 10 years old? He had to find jobs at 10 years old? That's crazy. Dang. They don't even allow that anymore.
for very long, including a gas station attendant, paper boy, golf caddy, and pin setter. One day, he got fired from a...
Those jobs seemed so fun though, especially at the time. Just think about it. Think about being a pin setter in the 40s, not the 80s when bowling was popular. The 40s. Okay.
from a new job at Walgreens after they discovered he was underage.
What? So they didn't know he was underage? Didn't the video say he was 10? How does one look at a 10-year-old and they don't know they're overage after immediately just seeing them? That just seems really weird to me. But okay, there are some child labor laws. There we go. I was like so confused, like they really hired a 10-year-old?
When his father found out, he slammed his fist on the kitchen table. "You'll never keep a job. I'll be supporting you for the rest of your life," he shouted. At that moment,
Okay, dude, chill. My goodness, he's like 10 years old.
Dave vowed never to lose another job again. Fortunately, he quickly found a new one at a restaurant called the Regus. During the school year,
A restaurant. Hey.
he worked every weekend, and during the summer, he worked every day for 12 hours. But Dave didn't mind. He was happy to be working in a restaurant and looked up to the owners, Frank and George Regus, as his mentors. As long as you try.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. First of all, that's nice that he finally found a job that he liked and that he's kept the job and he's learning in the job, and that's like the biggest investment like he's made. That is his investment in building a Wendy's. Like he's getting paid to learn everything. That's kind of what's happening with Plato's Closet. Instead of going to college and paying all of that money for college and then not being guaranteed a job that probably won't pay very much. Well, depends. But instead, I am being paid for my education at Plato's Closet so that I know what I'm doing once I get a franchise, you know? And that's the same thing here. That's so cool.
Try, you can do anything you want to do, be anything you want to be, they would tell Dave. The Regis brothers not only motivated him, but made him feel like he belonged.
Wow, what amazing owners. Oh my goodness. They are so supportive. Now it's becoming a Karate Kid story. He's got some mentors. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
But not long after, Dave discovered shocking news that made him feel more alone than ever. When Dave turned 13, his grandmother revealed the truth about his identity. He was adopted.
This is why you tell them up front. Oh my goodness, his life is probably like turned upside down. Oh my goodness. The poor kid, he was just starting to get he was starting to be happy, have a good life. All of a sudden, you're adopted. Okay.
It really hurt that nobody told me before. It is a terrible feeling to know my natural mother didn't want me. From then on, Dave became more determined to make it on his own and developed a work ethic that helped build Wendy's.
Starting from the bottom. From that phrase right there, you do not need to be rich in the first place in order to get rich. Like, you don't need a lot of money to get rich in the first place. My mom, poor as heck. Like, we were almost homeless when she built the business and had it become successful and made money. You can totally start from the bottom, literally from rock bottom, and you don't need money or financial security in order to become rich or wealthy, you know, or have a successful business.
When Dave was 15 years old, his father moved the family to Fort Wayne. Right away, he found a new job as a busboy at a restaurant called The Hobby House. There, he met his third mentor, Phil Klaus. Even in a suit, Phil would sweep the floors and put away the dishes.
I love that name, first of all. Second of all, that's kind of cool that he has multiple experiences and multiple mentors that teach him different things. So it's not just all in the restaurant business. This is completely different. And he's still going to use it for his future restaurant.
He was not only a hard worker, but kind and humble. If I can do it, anyone can do it, he would say.
Jeez, how does he get all these good bosses, all these good mentors? They seem like the nicest people ever. And then there's his family that didn't even tell him he was adopted.
Just when Dave was starting to feel at home, his father announced that they were moving again. This time, Dave didn't join them. Instead, he rented a room near the hobby house. Someday you'll be proud of me. I'm going to have my own restaurant and I'm going to be a success, Dave told.
So he did that at like 13, maybe 14? Sir. Wow, that's crazy. And I love that, like, this quote, it kind of shows that he had the entrepreneurial mindset. He wasn't like, I hope to have my own restaurant someday. I dream of having a restaurant. He's like, I'm going to have a restaurant. I'm going to be a success, you know? Oh my goodness.
Told his father as he prepared to leave. I hope you're right, son. Good luck to you, his father responded. At 15 years...
Why did they just let him? What, as a 13, 14-year-old? I don't know. This was the 40s, so I don't know what was normal, but I feel like there is no way this could be normal. Like, he was, like, 14 or something. He was 14, and the father was like, okay, cool. Have a good life. Oh my gosh!
Old. Dave was on his own and working a minimum of 50 hours a week.
He works.
In one of his school essays on the pursuit of happiness, he wrote, "Before I ever go into business myself, I am going to know my business. I'm going to start on the small scale and build my experience."
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! That's the way to go! Yeah, okay. First of all, The I am going to know my business part, that's really smart because then he'll know what he's doing. He'll understand his business really well. And if anything goes wrong, he knows exactly what to do. He knows exactly what to change, and he can easily make his business adapt. Knowing and understanding all that, great. Going to start on a small scale, that's pretty cool. Baby steps, you know? You don't have to go all in all the time. And building experience, that's really all it comes down to. Experience. Because knowledge is power, and experience is the best knowledge you could ever have.
He also wrote how he would achieve his goal.
I have one more thing to say about that. You know all those wise guys in the movies? Like the mentors, like the Karate Kid mentor and the other wise guys. They all are wise because they have the experience. They have experienced it. It's not just because they were taught it. They're great teachers because of the experience they have. See what I mean?
After I finish school, I want to join the army for a while and be a cook. In this way, I will get more experience. I will be all set to start the pursuit of happiness with a restaurant of my own.
That's a cool plan! Okay, sir. I feel like he could have done a million things in order to gain his experience. It's kind of interesting that he chose the army to become a cook. I kind of wonder why he chose that. Like, what was his thinking? Why did he choose that over everything else?
Not long after, he dropped out of high school and enlisted in the army a few years later. Starting from the bottom prepared Dave for a risky endeavor that paved the way for Wendy's success.
That's so weird that a fast food place was made based off of someone's experience in the army. That just seems like oddly controversial because it's like army, you're supposed to eat healthy, you're supposed to be fit because like you're serving your country, and then fast food, you know? Risking it all for KFC? Why would you do that? KFC is awful. I'm sorry for anyone who likes KFC, it's just gross. I never understood KFC. I never understood why that was still in business. Disgusting.
When Dave was dispatched from the army, he returned to the hobby house and worked as a cook. Over the years, he worked his way up to being the manager to vice president. One day, Phil told him about a man he met at a restaurant convention who could bring in more business. His name is Harlan Sanders, and he says
The KFC guy, okay.
he invented a new recipe and a new way of frying chicken. Phil said with excitement.
You mean frying it in grease and then taking a food brush and putting grease on the chicken again and then frying it again in grease, just drenched in grease? I think that's the recipe.
Dave raised his eyebrows. Why should we pay some guy who looks like a billy goat for his recipe when we already have good chicken? Dave.
Oh my god! No way! No way this dude called him a billy goat. That is funny. I just needed to sit with that one. This dude legit called the KFC dude a billy goat. I never even... I was like, yeah, the food's bad, but honestly, KFC guy, dude looks fresh. Like, he looks good. I never thought of him looking like a billy goat. But that saying right there, it's like, yeah, you already have good chicken, but if he has something better, then you out of business. Because you weren't accepting, you didn't adapt. You were like, no, I want to keep it this way. And that's how businesses fail, keeping it like that. Like, you have to keep changing it. Consistency is important, though. Don't get me wrong. Because if you're not consistent with your food, people have different experiences. And because of the unpredictability, people won't go there again. But it's still important to change a little bit and adapt in order to make your business better.
Argued. For once, Phil didn't listen to Dave and signed a deal to sell Harlan's Kentucky Fried Chicken. For each piece they sold, they would give him 5 cents. Afterwards,
5 cents a chicken wing.
Harlan came into the restaurant and introduced himself to Dave. When he left, I had a sense this man was going to change my life, Dave.
That is so weird that the KFC dude is what has influenced Wendy's. That is just weird to me.
Dave recalled. Within a few months, the Hobby House became one of the first and biggest takeout restaurants in the US. People were hooked on Harlan's fried chicken and would wait in lines outside the door.
That's because of the amount of grease they put on those dang things. Oh my gosh. They probably fry them in sugar too to make them addictive. Oh my goodness.
Eventually, Phil opened 4 Kentucky Fried Chicken franchises in Columbus. But his partners didn't
Okay, good for him. Good for him though. He knows what they like. He gets them what they like.
have any restaurant experience and hired the wrong people. After just a year, each store struggled to stay afloat, and Phil was over $2 million in debt.
Ooh, that's tough. I bet he got out of it though, because it seems like it's just a matter of hiring the right people. So once he gets someone with the experience or he figures it out on his own, he'll be good.
It was then that Phil decided to ask Dave to take on a risky endeavor, turn the stores around for a 40% stake in each one. Everyone, including Harlan, told him he was making a big mistake.
That's always what they say, don't they? You go into business, they're gonna say you're crazy no matter what because you're not following the system. Don't even listen.
Listen to the Colonel, boy. As your friend, get out now while you can. Things are just
I hate the word colonel, because you say it like colonel, but it's spelled like colonel. Like, really?
too far gone here, Harlan warned. By then, Dave was married with 4 children. It was his only chance to make more
He's family oriented. That's so cute.
money to support his family. Within
He's got a new family now. Oh, I'm happy for him.
6 years, he surprised everyone but Phil. He managed to turn the stores around by simplifying the menu, coming up with its
I dropped a raisin. Hold on. Ugh, can't have my cat eating those. Are raisins even... Alexa, can cats have raisins?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Venus.com, raisins and grapes can be poisonous to cats.
Okay, good thing I picked them up. Okay.
iconic sign and changing the frying method. 1 year later, he sold his shares of the KFC franchises for more than $1.5 million.
Yes, sir! Okay, 11 million in today's dollars. That's some good stuff right there.
Turning a failing business into a successful franchise taught Dave how to save Wendy's in the future.
Oh yeah, now he can use all of that experience and knowledge for his Wendy's business. Oh my gosh, that's probably why they haven't gotten like bankrupt yet. Cause it seems like Wendy's is one of the lower fast food restaurants, like the less popular ones compared to McDonald's and Burger King and all those, you know? You feel me? But it's still sticking up. I love Wendy's.
After Dave sold his shares and became a millionaire, he feared that he would one day struggle again. So when the opportunity came to lead operations for another franchise,
Is there a time where he's not fearing? Because I feel like he's scared, like, about all these things, which understandable what he is scared about. But like, you can chill for a little bit. Like, you just became a millionaire. Like, take a minute. Enjoy your money.
he didn't hesitate to say yes. But his dream of owning a restaurant was still on his mind, so much that he would talk about how he would make the perfect hamburger to his friend Len Imke for hours. Eventually,
He talked about making burgers for hours. Wow, he is passionate about burgers. This is for him.
Len grew tired of hearing Dave talk about his plans instead of acting on them. One day, he drove him to
That is a huge difference between the poor and the rich. The poor talk about their dreams. They're like, one day it's gonna happen. I really want to do this, but I don't have the time for it. The rich people are like, I'm gonna do this. This isn't a dream. I'm making it happen. You know? My sister's watching Baby Einsteins, and I'm really hoping it's not picking up. This is probably why we have a YouTube studio where it cancels out sound. But I was like, no, I'm too lazy for that. I'm gonna make it in my room.
drove him to downtown Columbus in hopes of grabbing a hamburger for lunch. It's closed, Dave said in disappointment. See, Dave, this is what I've been telling you. It's tough to get a meal down here at noon. We really need a hamburger operation, Len pleaded. Afterwards, Len told Dave he had the perfect location for him, a building that he owned at 257 East Broad Street.
Wow, that's just perfect, isn't it? Oh my gosh, that's so great that he has this friend that's like, oh yeah, I got a building for you, bro.
Immediately, they shook hands on a deal, and Dave started to think of a restaurant name. He settled on Wendy's, named after his red-headed, freckle-faced 8-year-old daughter. On
Oh my gosh, the whole fast food place is named after his daughter. I knew, okay, I didn't know that, but that just shows how much he prioritizes his family. See, he is obviously a busy man. He is doing all this stuff and he still prioritizes his family. So really it comes down to what you prioritize. You can make time for anything if it means enough to you.
On November 15th, 1969, Wendy's was open for business and specialized in its iconic square patties and frosty dessert.
Wendy's had square patties? That's so interesting. I've never heard that before.
Customers were hooked, and within 6 weeks, the restaurant was already making a profit. Not one to sit back, Dave continued to think of ways to improve the business and introduced the world's first pickup window.
No way Wendy's was the first one to do that. That's insane. Oh my gosh. I love this story.
He also launched the salad bar, the hot stuffed baked potato, and a super value menu. When he decided to franchise, people told him there was no room for another hamburger chain. But he quickly proved them wrong. Wendy's went public 3 years later. It also
That's insane. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love this story so much.
also became the first in its industry to surpass $1 billion in annual sales within its first 10 years and opened stores faster than its competitors. Today,
Wow.
it's the third largest hamburger chain in the US and has more
See, I bet the first two are McDonald's and Burger King. Calling it right now.
than 6,500 stores in 30 countries. In Dave's memoir, he shared key advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. Your fears and self-doubts are your personal traps. You may say,
Yes, sir. They only bring you down. What good could that come to? Unless it's like a fear of getting murdered and there is someone behind you about to murder you. Fear is here for no reason. It only brings you down.
I've never done it before. How do I know I can do it? There are never any guarantees, but there are also no rewards without risk. Talk positively to yourself because your own negative thoughts will hold you back more than another person will.
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. I could not express that enough. He said that so well. Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Really, all that's holding you back is your own mental thinking, your mental strength. No, just like your thinking. It's all mental. It really is.
This is the story of how an unwanted child beat the odds and turned his passion for hamburgers into a billion-dollar chain.
And he looks so happy too. Oh my gosh. Ah!
For more inspiring stories and
Okay, that was the end. I literally loved that. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for him. And I had no idea about any of that. That's so cool how much Wendy's has grown and what they came up with and that they were the first to do drive-thrus and oh my goodness. Oh, so much there. That just made my day happier. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to smash that like button and I will see y'all next time.
Check it out.